Chosen one, hey you, yes, you reading this right now, this isn't random. You didn't just stumble here, you were led here, and not by chance, but by divine orchestration. Something in the atmosphere shifted the moment you opened this. You felt it, haven't you? That quiet tug on your soul, that sense that you're meant for more than survival, more than going through the motions, more than what everyone else expects of you. Let me tell you something bold and true. You are not ordinary. You are not average. You are not here to blend in. You are here to break cycles, carry light, and change legacies. And right now, in this exact moment, heaven is sending you a message. You are being pulled aside because you're being prepared for something others aren't even ready to imagine. What looks like stillness in your life is actually strategy. What feels like delay is actually design. And if you've been tired, quiet, or wondering why everything feels paused, it's not because you're lost, it's because you're being positioned. This is your confirmation. This is your call. You're chosen. You're rising. You're next. Now breathe that in and get ready, because after this, you won't just walk different. You'll be different, looking for purpose and peace. Hit subscribe and start the journey. What's about to unfold within you cannot be classified as simple fatigue. This isn't the typical slowing down that follows long days or heavy thinking. Something deeper is occurring, an unseen directive that instructs every part of you to halt, not for sleep, but for immersion into a state where time has no influence. It is not retreat, but a crossing, a transition into a silent chamber where motion is not required, where breath alone is enough. Here, urgency dissolves. No list matters. No plan holds weight. A quiet shift is underway, not outside of you, but in the framework of your being. Energy is rerouted, not for action, but for reconstruction. There is no laziness in this stillness, only deep recalibration. No alarm can shake you out, because you're not merely resting. You're being rerouted towards something far beyond recovery. What looks like stillness is actually the birthing room of inner redefinition. This hush is not absence. It's a cocoon made of unseen hands, pulling back the noise and allowing you to be remade, cell by cell, breath by breath. A density settles in, not as fatigue, but as a quiet anchor. You may attempt to rise, to stretch toward routine, but your limbs won't answer the call. A hush wraps around your space like a velvet curtain, soundless and strong. Not slumber, but sealing. Not escape, but shielding. Beneath the surface, messages are rewritten, and instincts are dissolved into something softer, truer. Where words once failed to heal, silence now builds bridges. The strength once worn like armor melts away, and with it, the need to hold everything together. What held you upright yesterday is being replaced with something new, something rooted not in striving, but in surrender. Your framework is not falling apart, it's being reimagined. What others may misread as delay is in fact a sacred pause where pressure finds no entry. A place where breath and only breath is enough. Make your impact eternal. Join now and be a light in someone's darkness. This isn't withdrawal, it's a divine recalibration. What feels like forced stillness is actually intentional transformation. It's not weakness that has stilled your limbs or slowed your momentum. It's sacred precision at work. The halt you're experiencing isn't an end. It's a hidden process, one that can only take place when all other noise is muted. A deeper work is unfolding beneath the surface, where conscious thought can't reach. Movement is paused not to diminish, but to rebuild from roots unseen. The impulse to resist is strong, but yielding is where the change begins. This quiet is not emptiness. It is a vault being sealed, not with chains, but with care. A veil has been drawn, not to conceal, but to nurture. You are being escorted from the public into the quiet chambers of becoming. This absence from the outside isn't exile, it's protection. Development needs insulation, not interruption. External voices, distractions, even your own questions have been gently muted. What looks like silence is the atmosphere of sacred construction. While others move and measure, you are being refined in ways no mirror could reflect. This is not disappearance. It's a shielding so precise that even light bends around it. You're not alone. You're immersed in unseen hands, sculpting the version of you that won't collapse under the next calling. The external world shouts, demands, and races, but in this space, all of that fades like static. The true signal is quiet, almost imperceptible unless one is still. This stillness is not passive. It's the most active state your soul has ever known. You aren't falling behind. You're stepping out of the chaos and into sacred alignment. Here, you are no longer moved by clocks or calendars. The pressure to perform dissolves, and what remains is pure presence. Without lifting a finger, repair begins. Biology bends to mystery, and your being is brought back into rhythm with something older and wiser than time. If your heart overflows with divine love, now is the moment to let it shine. Click the super thank you button on YouTube and give $50 or more to help carry God's light to others. Your gift will bless not only your life, but countless others. You are part of His sacred plan. Your kindness may be the answer to someone's prayer. Share your blessings and honor His kingdom. May His grace guide you always. Where many see inactivity, there is an invisible storm of healing taking place. This pause isn't weakness, it's warfare without noise. The stillness you carry is not an escape from the fight, but a shift in strategy. Others may surge forward, but they will circle while you rise with direction. This is sacred resistance against burnout, a refusal to rush into places you're not shaped for yet. Timing is no longer yours to manage. It has been handed over to a higher current, and you are being carried by it, not behind, but precisely on cue. Soon, time will feel unfamiliar. Its usual rhythm will blur. Seconds may feel like they vanish, or linger like echoes in a canyon. But this is not confusion, it's correction. The structure you once obeyed has been overturned, and something truer is taking its place. In this new rhythm, decay pauses, stress softens, and clarity begins to grow in the soil of your stillness. What used to feel urgent will lose its grip, and in its place will rise a new strength, unrushed, untouched by urgency, unbound by expectation. This is not delay. This is the miracle of being made whole beyond the reach of clocks. This stage you've entered is not confusion, it's orchestration. Patterns are dissolving, not from chaos, but from careful unweaving. When habitual rhythms fall silent and the structure you trusted no longer holds, it's not collapse, it's recalibration. What others might call lost time is actually a hidden draft of something precise and profound. Emerging from this hush will come a depth of clarity, a surge of strength that wasn't earned through effort, but granted through trust. Intelligence will arrive without instruction. Stability will form without strategy. This is the atmosphere where impossible things quietly begin to unfold. What looks like idleness is a sacred exchange behind the scenes. While tasks pause and routines blur, a hand beyond yours is untangling every knot you couldn't fix. Resources shift. Obstacles dissolve. Answers form without inquiry. Where you once strained to be seen, unseen arrangements are being made. Spaces that once ignored your name are making room for your presence. The current is moving on your behalf, though you rest from rowing. What you couldn't reach by persistence is now responding to your stillness. Without speaking, asking, or acting, you are being represented. The transformation underway is not fueled by exhaustion or ambition. It's flowing from a rhythm you didn't write. Rest is no longer a luxury. It has become a key. What once felt like risk, stopping, releasing, allowing, has become the gateway to renewal. You are stepping into provision that does not demand depletion. Grace is filling in where performance once ruled. The blueprint is being rewritten. No more grinding for scraps. No more trade-offs between health and help. The new current does not reward the frantic. It honors the faithful pause. What is unfolding cannot be chased, only received. Certain bonds, once defined by strain, are now being rewired without confrontation. People you thought were lost are being softened beyond your awareness. Words you never found the courage to say are being spoken for you in places you'll never walk. Healing is happening where history had hardened. Connections you released in tears are being restored in quiet. No letters sent, no calls made, just a pulse from heaven redirecting the chords. Recognition is returning to those who once misread you. And not because you fixed it, but because sacred timing is rewriting what emotion could not resolve. Make your impact eternal. Join now and be a light in someone's darkness. There is no need to restart what was meant to be reshaped. Don't retrace steps. Don't reopen the closed. What's being rebuilt doesn't resemble what was broken. What felt like decay was actually a deep cleansing. In this calm, you'll discover how much had worn down, how even your laughter had edges, how your posture folded from carrying what wasn't yours. The grind aged you, not in numbers, but in weight. But now, the tide reverses. Where stress left its print, stillness is restoring shape. The slow rhythms of divine work are mending you in dimensions unseen. The outer shift will be undeniable. Energy will return, not with a bang, but with a steady hum. Eyes will brighten. Expression will lighten. And yet, the most noticeable difference will not be visible. There will be a calm that reaches beyond skin, a silence that speaks louder than words, an ease that can't be faked or replicated. This glow won't come from self-care routines. It will radiate from a place untouched by effort. It is not an upgrade. It is a remaking, a recalibration that touches not just your habits, but your essence. And when they look again, they won't recognize what they see. Not because you changed your style, but because peace finally moved in. This is not confusion overtaking you. It is precision cloaked in quiet. Thoughts that once ricocheted without pause, that carved tunnels of repetition in your mind, are being gently silenced, not with effort, but by intervention. What seemed like chaos in your inner world was a symptom, not your identity. And now, a higher wisdom is slipping through the cracks, rearranging your inner code where even silence couldn't reach. Patterns once etched deep into your response system are being redrawn, not blurred, transformed. This isn't distraction, it's divine reconstruction of the very framework that filtered your reality. Mental stillness isn't void, it's operation without hands. While your body rests in pause, something unseen is shifting the way your awareness connects to the world. The storm of old thought spirals is being swept clear. Inner alarms are going quiet. Mental echoes from past wounds are fading into nothingness. A different kind of learning is happening here, one that cannot be taught. Peace is beginning to occupy the spaces where panic used to live, and insight is showing up uninvited, but perfectly on time. This is not repair by logic, it's release through surrender. What's being rebuilt cannot be reversed. If your heart overflows with divine love, now is the moment to let it shine. Click the super thank you button on YouTube and give $50 or more to help carry God's light to others. Your gift will bless not only your life, but countless others. You are part of His sacred plan. Your kindness may be the answer to someone's prayer. Share your blessings and honor His kingdom. May His grace guide you always. Normal timelines have been dissolved. The pace you once followed has lost meaning. What drove you before, deadlines, checkpoints, comparisons, is now obsolete. This isn't stagnation, it's immersion into a deeper sequence where pressure has no purchase. You are not racing anymore, you are being carried. The expectation to keep up is being stripped away, not as punishment, but as freedom. Time in this state is not lost, it is transformed into an instrument of divine flow. What you thought was delay is recalibration. What felt like absence is access to something higher than strategy. In this dimension, acceleration is no longer tied to effort. Distances shrink, not through pursuit, but through alignment. What once seemed far is now being brought to your doorstep. Delays dissolve. Lost time is restructured. This is not earned speed. It is favor written into your design. The usual metrics no longer apply. The scoreboard is gone. Progress is now measured in moments of trust, not in hours of labor. A recalibration is occurring not in your calendar, but in your calling. And where you thought you needed to push, you now realize you simply needed to yield. Something else is happening in this quiet. You are not merely unconscious. You are being immersed in intelligence not found in books or voices. Insight is descending like rain in the unseen spaces of your soul. You are walking, unseen, in places untouched by language. And though you may not remember the details, the residue will linger, a sharpened knowing, a sudden clarity, ideas not summoned by thought, but deposited through intimacy. You are being handed blueprints, not instructions, orientation, not information. This is where futures are seeded. This stillness is not separation, it's sacred concealment. There is work unfolding in dimensions deeper than decision-making. While life pauses around you, truth is being poured into the crevices of your inner self. You may feel distant from activity, but you are being brought nearer to purpose. Normal routines may dim, connections may loosen, plans may vanish, but it's not disappearance. It's divine prioritization. You are being removed not from importance, but from interference. In this space, even your breath is enough. You are not falling behind. You are being moved into readiness. It may last longer than you expect. The depth of stillness may surprise you, but there is no need for fear. What feels like detachment is actually immersion. What looks like delay is exact design. While the world continues without your involvement, what's being prepared for you will not require your chase, only your return. And when you re-emerge, you won't need to explain the change. It will be visible in your posture, your rhythm, your peace. This isn't recovery, it's rebirth crafted in silence. This moment you're in is not inactivity, it's hidden ignition. While the days blend and movement fades, something immense is forming beneath the stillness. It may look like you're removed from the current, but you're actually being rewired for elevation. Expect to rise from this with resilience where fear used to live, with resonance in your voice and with vision in your gaze that sees beyond the temporary. The stretch of this silence is not an error, it's precision. What lasts longest carries the deepest roots. The pause is not holding you back, it's anchoring you for something your previous pace couldn't carry. The appetite for stimulation has dulled, and that's not coincidence, it's intentional dismantling. Distraction has lost its grip. Restlessness is being replaced by still perception. The outside world's volume is fading, not because you've lost interest, but because you've been drawn into a new frequency, one that doesn't require noise to confirm progress, one that speaks not in demands, but in direction. What appears as distance is really refinement. This is not a retreat from humanity, it's an awakening to divinity. You're no longer led by what's loud, but by what's aligned. The clearing is surgical in nature, but not in body, it's in blueprint. Inner systems are being altered at a level thought cannot reach. What's being removed is subtle but deep, doubt wrapped in habit, tension hiding in hope, remnants of things you've outgrown but never released. The unseen hands at work are not hurried, they're precise. Your core is being recalibrated so that reactions rooted in survival will be replaced with responses formed by truth. This is not cosmetic, it's core repair. And though you can't watch it happen, you will feel the result, a new way of existing that flows from within, not pressed from outside. The shift will not be theatrical, it will be cellular. And when you step back into routine, nothing will feel routine. Familiar rooms will feel different because you'll be carrying an essence that didn't come from achievement. It came from encounter. You'll move with settled confidence, not because of what you've studied, but because of what's been embedded in silence. The version of you that once needed applause or validation has quietly exited. What remains is not a reinvention, it's a resurrection of the original blueprint buried beneath survival. The light in your voice will be the evidence. The steadiness in your walk will be the proof. The frustration you felt has not been resistance, it's been redirection. The delay wasn't denial, it was depth being installed. You weren't being held back, you were being equipped with what surface-level preparation could never give you. The weight of what's coming demanded a stronger framework. So, instead of pushing forward for visibility, you've been expanded in secret, not for applause, but for assignment. Strength has been poured into your unseen places. Stillness has not slowed you, it has shaped you. And when this chapter turns, the foundation beneath your steps will speak of a story built with patience, not pressure. This isn't inactivity, it's infrastructure. What felt like stillness was never stagnation, but strategic strengthening beneath the surface. The delay you questioned wasn't denial, it was design. Internal frameworks are being reinforced, hidden systems fortified. What lies ahead requires more than ambition. It demands resilience, structure, and clarity. This interval is calibration. It's not lost time, it's the blueprint for the strength you'll need. The shift you're stepping into isn't ordinary. It carries weight, and only those rooted deep can carry it without collapse. Every moment of quiet has been doing more than you realized, crafting a container capable of holding what's next without breaking. Make your impact eternal. Join now and be a light in someone's darkness. The detour you're watching from your window while others rush past isn't failure, it's refinement. Their race isn't yours. This isn't a competition, it's a calling. Movement doesn't always mean elevation. Sometimes it's the silence that lifts you. You've been pulled out of the noise because where you're headed demands a different rhythm. You're adjusting to heights where fewer can survive. This thinning air you feel isn't pressure, it's promotion. Breathing here takes intentionality. You're not slowing down. You're being prepared to navigate with altitude, where the view is clearer and the cost is greater. And what feels like distance is simply distinction. Some attachments were never meant to follow you into your next era. They lingered not because they were right, but because they were familiar. But now, shifts are happening in silence. Doors are being sealed, not slammed. Comfort zones are dissolving gently but firmly. You may not fully understand the exits happening around you, but trust, these are extractions, not losses. Emotional threads that tied you to the past are being quietly untangled. These endings aren't cruelty, they're clarity. They are grace disguised as closure. The emptiness that follows is not punishment. It's space being made for something far more aligned with who you're becoming. Letting go doesn't always come with answers. Sometimes it comes with echoes. But even when the room feels empty, it's actually being curated. You've held on longer than you needed to, out of obligation, nostalgia, or fear. But this chapter is being archived by a force far wiser than your instincts. What you called loyalty was at times delay, and now you're being invited to trust without needing the why, to unclench the past without apology, to accept that clarity often follows discomfort. And when your hands are finally free of fragments, they'll be ready to carry fullness. What comes next is not an extension of what was. It's a redesign from the ground up. And when the unfamiliar begins to take shape, you'll realize that the pause was the foundation, that the stripping away was protection, that the slow rise was preparation for permanence. And most of all, you'll be grateful that your timeline was interrupted, because what's ahead couldn't be built on anything less than truth. You've always been the anchor, the constant, the one others leaned on when everything else wavered. But beneath that dependable exterior has been a quiet exhaustion, a weight never meant to be carried alone. That steadiness, though noble, was born more from necessity than freedom. And now, a sacred undoing is taking place, not to expose your cracks, but to repair what has lived too long behind fortresses. Layers built out of pressure, not peace, are being peeled away, not by force, but by love that sees through the performance. What you called resilience was often just silence about your own pain. That silence is ending. This isn't a breaking, it's a return. The defenses are softening, and in their place, something truer is emerging. The part of you that no longer needs to pretend to be okay, to be accepted. There is nothing to prove in this space. You are not measured by strength, but met with softness. Here, collapse is not a crisis. It's a beginning. There is no punishment in being human, no shame in feeling deeply. In surrender, you're not losing yourself. You're finally becoming whole. The power that's rising within you now isn't polished or loud. It's honest, and it's enough.